What's going on, everybody? Today we are talking about Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 7, The Legend of Ruby Sunday. This is the first of our Season 1 finale two-parter here, and it was a very interesting episode, a lot of fun. I think overall the season has been pretty good, not without some bumps in the road here, but I think we have a very interesting episode to talk about that led us into a pretty great cliffhanger for next week. And so, without further ado, let's get into it. In this episode, the Doctor and Ruby find themselves at Unit HQ, where the Doctor is trying to get to the bottom of who the woman that he and Ruby keep encountering on their travels actually is. Also, the Doctor is trying to get to the bottom of the mystery of Ruby Sunday, the legend of Ruby Sunday, as he knows that there is something mysterious that is connected to her origin story of being left by a hooded figure on the church on Ruby Road in Christmas of 2004. And so these are the two central conflicts that we are dealing with here in our season finale. I will say that I think this first episode of this two-parter was really doing the legwork. It was doing the setup for the second part of this finale here. It did feel like there was a lot of exposition and a lot of reintroducing of characters that we haven't seen in a while, such as Carla and Mrs. Flood. That being said, I liked most of what we got here. I liked seeing the Doctor introduce Ruby to the team at Unit. I really love any time that we get Kate Stewart on screen and we're able to tie the Doctor's history back to Unit, because I have seen a little bit of the classic Doctor Who series, and I do have to say that the third Doctor and that entire Unit arc is really, really fun to watch. It is very different for the show, but it is a great part of the show. I love the camaraderie that he has with the Brigadier. So anytime we get Unit back and are especially now able to make connections to the classic show with Kate Stewart, I think that is really, really great. I think that we also get to see Ncuti Gatwa and the 15th Doctor really shine in this episode. Maybe it has to do with the fact that we're dealing with a setting such as Unit, we're dealing with a global mystery that the Doctor is trying to uncover, so we really get to see him take charge and really come to conclusions and do that kind of mental working out of the situation that is typical of the Doctor. I feel like we haven't gotten that as much. We've gotten bits and pieces here with episodes like Rogue, episodes like Boom, but I think being in this setting, it gives the Doctor more agency, it gives him more ability to take charge, because people are really looking to him for answers. And so I really think that this is something that Ncuti needed by the end of this season to really help hammer home the point that he is, in fact, the Doctor. Don't get me wrong, I've loved what we've gotten from him so far. It's just I needed him to show a little bit more authority than he's been able to do in previous episodes, so I really, really like what we're getting here throughout the entire episode. As I said, we also get to see characters that we've seen before in this era come back. We get to see Rose Noble, who we met in the 60th anniversary specials, who is Donna's daughter, and it was really great to get to see her back and get to really see the way that the Doctor impacts people even after he's left them. I think it is really fun that we get to see his former companions from time to time working with UNIT and using what they've learned from the Doctor for good. And so it was really fun to get to see her back. We also get introduced to the UNIT team. We get to see Morris, who is a 13-year-old genius, and he was a very fun character to have here. We also get the introduction of General Chijozi, I think his name is, and he is a really great character. I really loved his interactions with Ruby in the episode. As far as Ruby goes, Ruby does a great job of being in lockstep with the Doctor, and I really think that we get to see just how much the Doctor has impacted her, where she is really able to come to certain conclusions that the Doctor may not have come to just yet. And I really, really loved the scene that we got in the time window with them where they are able to look in on the events of Christmas 2004, where Ruby gets dropped at the church on Ruby Road. I thought that Millie Gibson did a very good job of portraying the heartbreak that Ruby feels being a foundling, being somebody that doesn't know her origins and has probably been looking for a place to fit in her entire life because of her origins as a foundling. There was really some impactful acting here between her and Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor is trying to comfort her, and that was really incredible. I really loved the direction in this episode. I am not a guy that normally pays attention to direction unless something is really good or really bad, but I really liked what we got here. You could really feel the intensity of the situation that they were dealing with inside of the time window, and it really felt like the tension was mounting throughout the back half of the episode once it is revealed that there is a dark cloud that is engulfing the TARDIS. Speaking of the TARDIS, I realized as early as episode 2 that there was something that wasn't exactly right about the TARDIS. I noticed that it was making that groaning sound, and it was something that came back at the beginning of Rogue, where the Doctor tells Rogue that the TARDIS just has a little bit of indigestion because of a moral barometer, that it has a moral objection to bounty hunters being inside of it. And although that was a funny joke, I did think that something was amiss there. So I am glad that that is something that was intentional. And I have seen a lot of people talk throughout the season about how we haven't gotten a lot of scenes inside of the TARDIS. And I think that this is a big reason why you can't really have the TARDIS lifting off or making a landing without including those sound effects. And I think if you do it too much, that then your audience is going to start to get wise to something not exactly going right here. And so, even though it did annoy me that we haven't seen the TARDIS as much this season, I can understand why that choice was made. As far as fan theories go, it is really, really funny that Russell basically starts the episode with, let's just throw out all of these theories that I'm sure the fans are going to have as soon as they get the first trailer for this finale. So, of course, the S triad technology being an anagram for TARDIS was something that people were starting to figure out upon the first trailer coming out. I also love that the next main theory that we get here, the one which is really treated as the correct theory here, is the idea that this character of Susan Triad is actually Susan Foreman, the Doctor's granddaughter. This was really a great nod to the character in general, and really a good bait and switch for the episode. I pretty much knew the minute that they threw out the idea that maybe this was the Doctor's granddaughter that it probably wasn't going to be the case, but nevertheless, I do like the tension that we got here throughout the episode because of it, as the Doctor is in a situation where he's really having to reckon with his past and really reckon with things that, as the 14th Doctor, he was supposed to have worked through, but I don't think that he necessarily has. I think that he is in a position where he is healthy enough to continue traveling, but he is living under the guise of, I am emotionally healthy, I am completely fine, I've gotten over all the traumas of my past. And he's trying to do that in a way where he's being more emotionally available to his companion Ruby and to the other people that he meets. But I really don't think that internally he's dealing with a lot of things, which I think is a really interesting thing to deal with here, as I know just in regular life, human beings find ourselves in a position where it's a lot easier to be emotionally available for other people and help them through the things that they're dealing with rather than our own internal problems. That being said, let's talk about the actual big bad of the episode, and that is Sutek. I have not seen most of the Fourth Doctor's stories, so I was unfamiliar with the Pyramid of Mars, which is the story in which Sutek first appears. Nevertheless, I think he is a great villain to have here for the season finale. I think it is great to have him retroactively as the leader of this pantheon of gods that we have seen this season, such as the Toymaker and the Maestro, and then tying in the Trickster from the Sarah Jane Adventures into that mix. I think that was really, really fun. I think that what is interesting to me about this villain and this choice is that I don't think this is a villain that you can take down with a gun. It's not a villain that you can take down with a bomb or a transmat, as the Doctor tried to do in Parting of the Ways with the Daleks. This is going to be something that is very different here, and I think it is really going to test the Doctor and Ruby to try to find a creative way to bring him down and protect the fabric of the universe. And so I really love the big leap that Russell is taking here. Another thing that I saw people talking about was why exactly Susan Triad would be in any of these timelines if the Doctor wasn't a part of these civilizations. So why she was on Kastarian 3 long before the Doctor was there, why she is apparently the mother of Lindy when the Doctor just recently met Lindy. But I think that that has a lot to do with the fact that Sutekh was essentially tethered to the TARDIS, which means that we have Susan Triad also tethered to the TARDIS, as it seems like she was very easily possessed by Sutekh, and so I think she's kind of a vessel for him, and so I think as the TARDIS traveled throughout time and space, then similar to Clara getting stuck in the Doctor's time stream, going down that time vortex and kind of going into the Doctor's time stream, that this is kind of a similar situation there where her consciousness kind of got sprinkled throughout time. I do like that seemingly right now they're not doing like the Clara version of it. I don't know if she is just a vessel or if she is someone that is meant to protect the Doctor. Right now, I'm leaning towards she's just a vessel for Sutekh, but again, we'll have to wait until this second part comes out to really be able to tell what's going on here. All in all, I think that this is a really strong season finale here. I do think that this first part here was doing a lot of heavy lifting for the second part of the episode here, but I can't necessarily say that any of the moments in this episode were things that I didn't enjoy, even though Russell really let things kind of breathe here, and there wasn't too many high stakes until the very end of the episode, that this is something that is going to give us a very exciting second part here, and it is going to be very interesting to see how the first season of this new era of Doctor Who wraps up. I am very interested to see the vision that RTD has for wrapping up this season, and it has been a very wild ride. Even if I have some criticisms of things that have happened in the season, I still think it has made me more excited for Doctor Who than I've been in a long time, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm very much hoping that the finale ends up sticking the landing, but I'm very happy with what we've gotten here so far, and so now all we can do is wait. That's going to be all for me for this video. Remember that if you like what you see, you can go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel, making sure to hit that notification bell so you get notified when I post a new video. Until then, later guys.